Okay, this question is, hey Paul, with hey spelled with a W instead of an E. When making a I don't know what they mean by large based platform game. He says, when making a large based platform game, period. And then it says, sort of like seiklus. How would you plan it out? Okay, first of all, I've never made a platform game, so I wouldn't necessarily know what to suggest. And seiklus wasn't even that large of a game, so I'm not sure what he means by large-based platform game like seiklus. Um, it probably just depends on how you want to design the game. Do you want a central hub and branching off to different areas? Do you want a series of areas? Do you want um, some other organization, such as going in and out rather than left and right and up and down, like Paper Mario where you spin it around, or Fez? It depends on, let's just assume there's a square, like 4 dimensions, and you go up, down, left, and right. The main thing there is that most areas are going to be squares because that's what the screen size is. You could make the square the unit, and then you put a bunch of units and you arrange them in a map. You're sort of asking a question that's kind of hard, like how do you design a map, or how do you design a maze? When I was a kid, I used to draw mazes for fun, like, you know, those mazes where you have a start and an end and you have to find the way, trace the path or whatever. I used to make a lot of those, like hundreds, and my father used to make a few too, but I used to just make them for fun. So I think a lot of the experience I gained from making mazes when a kid transfers over, but it also just makes my games more maze-like. Like if you play Saturated Dreamers, it's very maze-like. It's sort of like a giant maze. Um, Although of course there's many different ways in a traditional maze. The traditional mazes on paper, there's only one way from start to finish, whereas in Saturated Dreamers there's lots of ways. But the basic similarity, not that, they're basically similar. But with the platformer it's different because it's not overhead, so instead you have to do ladders and holes and doors. Actually, Goonies 2 has an interesting map system where doors lead to other areas. So it's not strictly up, down, left, right like Super Metroid, but there's a series of in and out areas using doors, which kind of makes it more interesting because you could make a map in 3 dimensions rather than 2 dimensions, even though the game itself is played in 2D. Although Saturated Dreamers is only 2 dimensions because there's no up and down, there's no, well, you could dive underwater, but there's no secret underwater areas, or you can't fly into the sky, and there's no cloud areas or something, just a plain 2 dimensional map. I'm not even sure where I'm going or if this answer is even going to be useful in any way. But the basic thing I'd recommend is to draw the map out on paper first, and then make it in the game. Don't just put game elements randomly and hope it'll fit together, because you really do need a large-scale world map. I guess that's all I could give you. It's probably not a very satisfactory answer. Okay, bye.